mentioned, Cheryl, I'm not in this position. You know,
Jerry Beth, can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Good evening. I do know Miss Alice and Ryan are not going to be here this evening.
Okay.
Bo,
Hey, Jerry Beth,
Yes.
go 5. And
Mhm.
by my count, we're a member short still.
Yes.
So if it's okay with everybody, I'd like to give it till 10 minutes after. I've sent out just an individual reminder to everyone just to give them.
Mayor, do you have me in? I was dialing in as you were texting me.
Well, we haven't counted roll just yet, but yes, sir.
Okay.
Are you kidding me? It's gonna be a long bus ride.
Everybody, you can back me up. We've got 4 members in the council right now. I think I can vote for 2 reasons: to break a tie and to make a quorum.
That is what I understand as well. We've, hold on.
I believe that's correct too, Mayor.
All right, everybody, it's 6:10. I'm not going to waste y'all's time any longer. As I understand it, again, a mayor can vote for 2 reasons: to break a tie or to make the quorum. And given our situation tonight, looks like we've got 4 members. I would be a 5th one. So in order to host this meeting, I'll be a participating member this evening if we vote. So with that, Ephraim, thanks for logging in this evening. If you would, go ahead and please open us up with a word of prayer. You're muted, sir. No, sir. You're still muted. There you go.
Let us bow. Father God, we want to thank you for enabling us to attend this meeting tonight. Thank you for the mayor and the ones that set up this meeting. We pray that we do the things that is best for the people of Lono. In the precious name of our Lord and Savior, Jesus Christ. Amen.
Amen. I appreciate it. Jerry Beth, if you would please call the roll.
Mayor,
Here.
Mrs. Stewart,
Here.
Mr. Gibertson,
here,
Mrs. Alice Bridges. Okay, Mrs. Suzette Elmore.
Here.
Mr. Ryan Bowles,
Ryan's here, he's muted.
yes, I seen he was here.
And earlier when Gib answered, it came from the Ryan Bowles
Ah,
icon.
well, thank you, because I thought, well, I guess he logged in. Yeah, I don't see him. Okay. So Gib Richardson is not present.
No, Gibbons here for some reason. When I log in, I guess because I used Ryan's account one time with Lono 2022, it just takes me to that account. But Gibbons
Okay. Okay, gotcha. Okay, Ephraim Jones,
Here,
Mr. Raymond Hatton, Mr. Michael Florence, and Mr. Coy Butler.
Here.
Okay, so am I understanding, is Ryan Bowles here?
No, he told me he would not be here. So
Okay.
it says
Okay.
Ryan, but Gib Richardson
But- yeah.
is underneath
Got
that Lonoke 2022 icon.
Okay. Okay, so Mayor, we do have a quorum with you being a vote.
Very well. All right, Jeremy. Guys, tonight we're meeting to catch up on our last condemnation meeting. That's why we have 6 properties to discuss this evening. We do have some bid tabulations for your discretion. Status of liens, what we're going to look at for next quarter, and then a trendsetter package consideration that I need to ask the city council to vote on. And normally we would hold this out till a normal council meeting, but because time is of the essence, we can't. So I added it on to tonight's condemnation meeting. So with that, Jeremy, I'll let you begin your updates on your property.
Okay, good evening, council. I'm going to be pretty brief on all of these. One, in the essence of time, and 2, we've kind of talked about all these before. We'll start off 206 England. This one is, I apologize about this picture. I wish I could get a better one, but the building's gone, so I can't get another one. So how this one was is Mr. Giacomo's house. We've gone through it a few times. She has, the building has been removed. The property's cleared. She wanted to keep the accessory building on that, and that can go through now because we have passed the ordinance allowing for community gardens, which allow for accessory buildings. And she has filled out an application for that. If you'll go down 1 or 2, Mayor. This is where it is currently. As you can see, she's filled out the application. She sent me a certificate showing she has liability on the property. She still will have to go through and file for a conditional use permit because that's required through community gardens. She is in the process of getting that filed out. She may not make it by November because there is a 15-day notice that has to be out in papers before that goes through, which means she kind of needs to get all that paperwork to us by Wednesday of next week for that to be on the November Planning Commission meeting. But she is doing everything she can to get that through, and if not, it'll go into December. My recommendation for this one is that we take it off the condemnation list because she's done everything she needs to do. The rest of it is more just going through community development and getting it approved through the Planning Commission. And yeah, that's my recommendation on that. She does, I have discussed with her a little bit about cleaning up some of the leaf and limbs that are on the property and informing her that she needs to also probably file for a fence permit because she just has kind of she put up some kind of construction fence while she was tearing everything down. As you can see across, I told her she needs to kind of probably go ahead and get a fence permit and get that taken care of as well. But that is my recommendation for this property.
All right, so I'll take a motion from the council to remove 206 England from the condemnation list.
So moved, Coy Butler.
Second, Suzette Elmore.
Thank you, guys. Any discussion on it? Any questions for Jeremy? All right, don't forget to come off of mute, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
And aye. Any opposed? All right, then motion carries. I think Michael Florence is just logged in, Jerry Beth. All right, got your thumbs up.
Yes, I do have it.
Which means we have a true quorum.
I'm here now.
All right, good deal. Thanks, Mike. All right, all you missed was a roll call invocation, and we discussed the first property. We just voted to take 206 England off of the condemnation list. If you recall, that was the property over here by City Hall. And there's been a community gardens application applied for, and Jeremy explained all that. So if there's no other questions on this property, we'll move on to 304 East Ash.
Okay, 304 East Ash. As you can see, it's kind of behind the fire station. This property, years ago, a very large tree fell on it, and since then it's been kind of taking on water, slowly deteriorating. We've contacted the owner on that. The owner listed is deceased, so I've spoken mostly with the relative of his, Mr. Larry Raper, and where this one is as of now is it is currently in probate. So as of right now with this one, what I'm looking at is to either one of two options. Which Mr. Larry Raper, he has informed us that once he is certain there's any problems with probate, he is going to proceed with demolishing this structure himself, or that he'll pay to have it done himself. So my suggestion with this one is that we either keep it on the condemnation list just so to let them know that we really haven't forgotten about it, or we can take it off and just keep an eye on it and revisit it if, months from now, nothing has been done. I'll leave that to the council to decide on that.
I'd say leave it on myself and however long it takes to, say 90 days, you think?
I can do that, 90 days to the end of the year. If we do that, what I'll basically do is I'll just send them a letter basically saying that we're keeping it on the condemnation list with our understanding that you are going to remove it yourself. If for any reason that does not happen under a certain time period, we will go through and proceed with the city moving forward with taking care of ourselves. On their dime, of course.
Well, Mike, would you like to make a motion?
Yeah, I'll make a motion. We leave it on. Let's see, this is October, to the first of the year. You guys think? What does everybody else think?
I agree, Michael.
I agree.
Motion.
Yeah, I agree with it too.
Okay, I'll make that into a motion.
Could you do us a favor, clarify that for us so Jerry Beth can copy it down?
Okay. Was it 304 Ash? Is that correct?
Yes, sir.
I'll make a motion. We leave 304 Ash on the list until first council meeting in January, or first meeting we have January of 2022. And if it's not taken care of by then, we'll move forward from that point. Hopefully it'll be taken care of long before then.
Do you have a second?
I second that. Let's give Richardson.
All right. So I got a motion by Michael Florence to keep the property 304 Ash Street on the condemnation list to be reconsidered at next quarterly condemnation meeting. And I've got a second by Gary Bridgeton. Any further discussion on 304 Ash? Don't forget to come off of mute, please. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right. Motion carries.
Okay, 419 East Ash. This one has kind of been on my eye since I've started here. It is on the corner of 9th and Barnes. Well, it's not really on the corner of 9th and Barnes, but it kind of is. I'll get to that as we go through. It's been in a state of disrepair since I've been here. It has been a major issue. As you can see, it's been in bad shape. There was also a property beside it, and behind it, there were also issues. I mean, like I said, this is one, I'd have saved this one for last if I could, because it's kind of was a baby of mine for a while. And I've worked the owner on this, and they have torn this down themselves. Not only on that, there was a large amount of bamboo behind the property that the neighborhoods have been complaining throughout the time of year about blackbirds and bird feces being a problem. So I put these two together to kind of get a panorama of the whole area. The building is gone, the property beside it, all the bamboo is gone, plus behind it on Barnes. We also got control of that property and all the bamboo off of it as well. I mean, it's a good success story. It's all gone, looks really good. Hopefully we can keep it that way. So this one I just recommend, it's all been taken care of. I just recommend we remove this from the list and chalk it up to a good thing.
So moved.
Second, Coy Butler.
All right, motion by Gibb and seconded by Coy. Any discussion on it?
Looks good. Good job.
Great job.
Good job.
All right, if you would, motion's been made to take 419 East 9th off the list. Don't forget to come off the mute. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, motion carries.
Okay, 318 Harrison. I have to apologize. The map's not correct. I guess I was so excited about 9th, I wanted to put it on there twice. So that's not the right map. This is 318 Harrison. It's in between Harrison and Brown. There's the Jerusalem, I believe Church of Christ there, just a block away from there. Fletcher Lane crosses across with it. This property, we've gone through with 3 letters through it. We really haven't got any response. That's mainly the state. The taxes on this one are delinquent, so it is a property of the state at the moment. Through going through it, they have, I guess the current owner has kind of torn down the accessory building that's in the back. If you go down, I believe 1 or 2 more slides, it'll show that. It's been torn down. It's not been removed. So it's in a state of just, the bid to tear this one down that we did was $5,550. And as I said, I mean, the state owns that. The possibility of what we will do if we do elect to tear this down, it will be filed as a lien on the taxes. So if it goes into auction and the state if someone buys it, they'll have to get current on the delinquent taxes, and this will be part of the delinquent taxes they'll have to cover as well. So if someone buys it, that would be the only way that the city would see any money back from that. But in my opinion, it's an eyesore. It's fire hazard. It gets varmints. With a couple times I went over there was a dog underneath it that I didn't see any puppies, but it was pregnant. We run it off a few times, tried to catch it a few times. There's been other cats and other things, and it's just an eyesore in the city. So in my opinion, it should be torn down, but it's on the council to decide if we want to foot the bill on that and possibly not see that return unless someone decides to buy it at auction in front of the courthouse.
This is Gibb. So what kind of budget do we have to do this kind of stuff?
We'll get down to that later, but as of right now, with what we have done so far this year, we have not had to pay, the city has not had to put any money up to tear any building down. As of right now, we're sitting on over $25,000 left in our annual budget, which is normally, our annual budget's $30,000. And since we have not had to put any money down to tear anything, all we have had to pay for are to run a title search on every property that we've put on the condemnation list, and that's 250 per. And so we've done 10 of those so far this year. So that's $2,500 plus any notices that we put out to owners, and then legal fees as well that we have to go through. So we've really only used about $3,000. And then, like I said, this was 5,550 to tear this down. So we're well within our means to do this. It's just that there is the risk that the city could possibly, it could be a while before the money gets back, or it could never come back. So it's just on the city to decide what they would like to do with that.
I need a
Whose
motion.
board is that?
I'm not certain on that. I'm sorry.
What is the address of that property? Whereabouts exactly is that?
It's
Uh,
318 Harrison and Brown. The map's not correct, so I just have to tell you, it's in between Harrison and Brown. Fletcher Lane crosses that area, and like I said, the Jerusalem Church of Christ church, which is, Mayor's got his pointer on that. That's right back there as well.
I was wondering, could there potentially be a park if the city did end up with it?
I guess I'm really not sure about how that process works as far as what the city would do to take that property. Right now, the state owns it, and they'll put it, they'll put it up for auction to any buyer.
As far as I know, the only way we could assume responsibility is if nobody bids on it when it goes to the state auction, but I don't know.
We would have to bid on it at the auction. And just Jeremy's mostly right on that. It's been certified to the state. The landowner actually still owns it until the state sells it, but he's correct in that the state controls it. But if we wanted to have that property, we'd have to be the successful bidder at any sale of the property that the state did. Or if we had a lien on it, we could foreclose the lien, but I don't suggest that option because of trying to find all the people that may be owners of the property.
Yeah, I was just wondering, we had to spend $5,500 to tear it down, and would we have that piece of ground then? If not, it doesn't sound like we would.
No.
All right, forgive me for being ignorant, but so the state is in control of it, but there's still an owner they're still a landowner, they're just behind on the taxes, is that correct?
Yes. But it's been certified to the state because there's been multiple years of non-payment.
And I do know the owner, and I have talked to him before. He had indicated that he would tear it down. And then the last time I talked to him, he also mentioned as well the portion of it being with the state. And since then, he hasn't touched it. The first two times I talked to him, he talked about his intention of tearing it down himself. But I think he's realized it wasn't, he's more an heir to the property. So it's kind of, I think he's almost to the point where he's going to walk away from it, in my opinion, possibly. That it's kind of more money than he wants to spend. So I would assume that it's probably going to be the state, and any money spent on it will only be reimbursed to the city unless someone buys that property.
All right, I don't have any more questions.
Well, and I think Jeremy made this clear, but just to make sure it's clear, somebody would have to buy it, and the state gets paid their back taxes first, and then we would be almost like a second lien holder on it to get paid anything that's left over and above what the state got paid for their taxes.
Mhm.
So I need a motion from the council to either move on it or not. Like Jeremy said, we're well ahead of our budget, so 5550 could be sunk cost. It might not return, but it could. And that's up to the council to decide if we move on or not.
What
Jeremy,
do y'all
one
think?
question to ask you, do you know when the tax sale is going to be held on this?
I do not at the moment, no.
Okay, because if the tax sale was coming up like in the next few months, then I would probably say hold off. If it's coming up in the next few years, then we may have more of an interest in moving quicker on it.
Good point. That's a good
I'm gonna
point.
I'm gonna do some research real quick, see if I can find the answer to that. If we wanted to table this for just right this second and
We
go
can
to the
move
next one and talk about
yeah,
it. And
sure,
then-
we can move to the
and then
next
go back to
property.
it. Okay.
Are there any objections from the council? We'll just move to the next
Nope.
two properties.
Sounds good.
Thanks, Ginger.
Okay, next
No.
property, 16 Washington. This one is kind of on the other side of town. It's close to both the elementary school and the primary school, close to West Palm as well. It's been in disrepair. There was a fire years ago and it's been in disrepair since. Contacted the owner several times on that. And as you move down, you can see they have started. Actually, we did go ahead and get a bid on this one as well to demolish this. It is $6,000 for this one. In the meantime, the owner has started to demolish the property. And if you go down one more, he has sent a letter asking for consideration for more time. He has some of his equipment to tear it down is currently being worked on. And when that gets back, he will proceed with getting the rest of it down. My recommendation is to keep this one on the list with the understanding that if they don't finish it up possibly by the end of the year, then we will most likely take bids again. Hopefully there'll be less since most of it will be torn down anyway, and proceed, and the city can proceed and file lien on that property to get their money back. But I have every intention that the owner is going to take care of this themselves.
Mhm.
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to keep it on the condemnation list until the beginning of next year. Give the owner time for its equipment to get back on par.
I second that motion, Mr. Gifford.
Okay, good. I got a motion by Ephraim to keep 416 Washington on the condemnation list until for consideration until the next quarterly meeting, beginning of the year. Second by Gibberish. Any discussion on that? And again, this is a property that we do believe will self-remediate, so that'll be good. All right, don't forget to come off of mute. If there's no other discussion, all in favor, say aye.
Aye. Mayor,
Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Yes, sir.
I know you have one thing that the council needs to vote on. I'm about to have to go away for another engagement. I didn't know if we could move that up in the order, or I could probably break away if somebody could call me and I could get back on and vote for, I'm sorry, I don't have my agenda pulled up, but the thing we are needing to vote on as a council.
Are you talking about the trendsetter?
Mhm.
Yes.
Yeah, I mean, we can hold our spot in the agenda and move down if there's no objections from the council.
I knew we were getting close on making a quorum, and I was afraid if I dropped out, we may not have a quorum anymore.
We won't have a true quorum, but I'll be able to vote and carry on. So
However y'all want to do it, sir.
is there any objection from anybody that we move? I think we just closed out 416 Washington, and we're still waiting to hear back on 318, and we've got 116. So we've got two properties left on the condemnation list. A lien
I don't have a
update,
problem with
bid results. Is anybody got any issues if we go down to the trendsetter package?
I don't have an issue.
All right, sounds good. That's what we're gonna do. Jeremy, just hold your spot there. All right, so what Corey's referring to, and I appreciate you putting it in priority, Corey, before you leave. Fantastic news. Obviously, a city is receiving a trendsetter award from Arkansas Business. And every year they select a handful of communities across the state to represent one of a few categories. And this year, Lone Oak is going to represent the under 5,000 population category for Trendsetter City in education and workforce development. That didn't happen by itself. There's a lot of people that deserve a lot of credit. And we have an opportunity as a city to show our thanks, to campaign as a city, to advertise what's actually going on. And so we were given an opportunity in two regards. Let me scroll down here real quick. Here we go. All right, and so here's just a quick summary of what the Trendsetter package actually is, recognizing its innovative cities. It's designed to recognize cities that are not settling for the status quo. They're committed to achieving a higher degree of excellence to make their city more attractive for economic development and for their current citizens. So this is an opportunity for the government and or city chambers of commerce to place an ad thanking the members of the community for their support and their participation. You guys know this new academy that we've got required a millage increase, and that was a public election, and it took a lot of campaigning, a lot of effort to get the information out on what we're actually doing. And then you're recognized in front of all the other cities during the Municipal League Conference in the wintertime. I think they either do this once or twice a year. I think it may be a one-time-a-year award, but I don't recall. So here's the options that we're given. We have an opportunity. There's two editions that are going to be printed. The one I'm going to ask the council to move on is the December Trendsetter edition. And then there is one in November that's coming out that is going to highlight education. It's an education special that Arkansas Business is printing. And consequently, we happen to be the recipient of the Education Workforce Award. So they offered that we might actually want to consider an ad in that print as well. Okay.
What's up? Yes, sir. How are you? Coming to watch Caroline cheer like y'all are coming to watch a boy play. I know.
So in December, I'm asking the council to consider a full page ad in the Arkansas Business magazine. And I would ask the council to consider a half page ad in the November special edition. Do you guys have any questions?
So where will these, excuse me, where will these funds come from?
Out of retail. So we already had, if you guys remember, we had some billboard campaign funds budgeted in last year. We did not use them. So this money is sitting in our retail budget for the purpose of promotion and advertising already. I don't have the budget open. And I want to say it was $20,000 that we allocated to advertising and promotion, but we didn't use it. So it's sitting in retail and already budgeted for. It's a matter of how we want to spend it.
Can you go back to those ad prices for us?
Yeah. So this is a special rate, Suzette. I had to ask this question myself because you'll notice the full page is $41.65, which is right here. The half page is more. That's because November is not this incentive package that they put together for the Trendsetter cities. It's the regular pricing in November, and it's a specialized price in December.
Do you know what their do you know what their circulation is, Trey?
I don't know what the number is. I can tell you that it's a statewide publication, but I don't have a number on the metrics of how many people they reach.
Okay. I may be mistaken on this, but I'm thinking there is a Central Arkansas publication and then maybe one for Northwest Arkansas. Or is this going to cover the whole state?
This is statewide, to my understanding.
I'm a subscriber to Arkansas Business, and all these special things that they run are included in every Arkansas Business published.
Yeah, I just didn't know. And I do get it. I subscribe and I do get those supplements, we call them, and those editions, but I just didn't know if this would be covered statewide or if it would just be in the Central Arkansas division.
It's going to be the Trendsetter is going to be statewide. And like Michael said, I understand the specials that they print go out all over the state as well.
Okay, thank you.
Mm-hmm. So I
think it's a good way to promote our city, get the word out about us.
And they are also coming, they are also going to be here October 25th for the ribbon cutting during this email transaction. We were discussing the event that's going to take place October 25th. So they've already scheduled, Arkansas Business is scheduled to be here and help document that also. But regardless, if there's anybody on the council that would move, I would ask the council to make a motion for the full page ad. And if you're so inclined, I think the half page ad in November's edition is also a very good idea for the community. But I'm gonna leave that to the council.
So moved, Coy Butler.
Second, Michael.
All right, so to be clear, Coy, your motion is to accept the invoice for both December and November.
Yes.
All right. Is there any discussion on it?
I have one more question. So who will be designing the ad actually that will be printed?
I don't have that answer. Hannah Camp is who I've been working with or coordinating this through email. But
Okay.
They've got editors and they've asked us to send in some photographs for the package itself.
Okay, so I'm just assuming, and I come from a newspaper publication family. I've grown up in this, so I'm just asking some questions. They should have advertising designers on staff. So I'm assuming that they're going to draw up some rough drafts and someone's going to look at it and approve it before it goes into publication.
If that's a question I can't answer, I can find out for you.
Okay, I mean, I would be interested. I would think someone would need to approve what they're going to print before it's actually publicized.
I agree, Suzanne. I'm sure that'll happen. I've run ads in their specials before, and their graphics department has designed them, and I've signed off on them.
Yeah, so I'm just assuming someone will look at that and make sure that's proofed well and approved before it actually goes into publication.
Mayor, can I amend my my motion that you approve of the ad before it but goes into publication?
You can. The protocol is you remove your motion and make a new motion technically.
I make an addition to my motion.
Okay.
And I'm sorry, if I'm going to vote on this, I don't have a whole lot longer. So let just anyway, I can do whichever you want to, or we can keep discussing it.
Is Jerry Best still with us? All right. So I can see this getting a little confusing. So, all right. So I've got an amended motion on the floor to accept the full page in December, the half page in November. And as I understand it, to allow me to approve the draft that Arkansas Business comes back with. Is that correct, Coy?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
All right, so I need to take a second for Coy's amended motion.
Second that, Skip Richardson.
Thank you. All right, any discussion on that motion?
I think that's a good choice.
Okay.
I do too.
And I do my best to keep you guys informed, so I don't have a problem pushing out the draft and allowing you guys to see that as I've replied to Arkansas Business. So you'll see what's being approved as it goes out. All right. Any further discussion or questions? Don't forget to come off of mute, please, for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that motion carries. Coy, thanks for hanging in there with us on that.
Yeah, sorry, gotta go, y'all. Thanks.
If you want to go back to my research on when the next tax sale is, I can't seem to find where there's one even set yet. So I think it's going to be a while if we wanted to look back at that 318 Harrison Street one.
Okay. So to recap, 318 Harrison is, I don't remember that. It's on Harrison and Fletcher, I think is the corner that it sets on. Remind me, Jeremy, but 5550 is what we're looking at to raise the property.
Yes, on the corner of Harrison and Fletcher Lane, also with Brown behind that. And as you can see, the church down there, it kind of gives you a further idea of where it is located.
I'm, see, I guess I am voting on this now. But my recommendation to the council, somebody make a motion, I would recommend that we move on it. Depending that we are so far ahead in the budget. We've got 2 months left in the budget before next year's comes out. So we've only spent $5,000. That would be my recommendation, but I'm gonna leave it up to somebody on the council to make a motion on how we move forward.
We move forward to raise that property.
I got a motion to move on the property. Do I have a second?
Second, Suzette Elmore.
All right, any discussion or questions on 318 Harrison? Don't forget to come off of mute for the vote, please. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? Thank you, guys. All right, 416. We had a motion to keep this property on the list until the next quarterly meeting. All right, last property on the condemnation list is currently, 116 North Front.
Okay, this one, 116 North Front, it's very similar to Washington, kind of the same song, different property. We did go ahead and proceed with getting a bid for demolition of this. It was $6,000. If everyone's aware, this one is kind of behind the donut shop that's on Front Street. It's been around for a good long while. As you can see, I've worked with the owner on that. It's actually behind the dental office, which is next door to the donut shop. They are also the owners of the property. And through discussion and working with them, they have proceeded, as you can see, to remove it. It is, I drove by it a little bit today, and it's almost down to just the frame at this point. So it's pretty much gone. My recommendation is to let them continue, because if we go forward with the bid, I mean, it's not worth the $6,000 now, obviously, to just get the frame hauled off. So my suggestion on this is just to, I guess we can leave it on the condemnation list for until the next meeting to make sure it does completely go away. But I consider this one pretty much a success story as well.
All right, the recommendation is to keep it on the condemnation list just to ensure that they do get rid of all of the refuse completely. And if not, then we'll have an opportunity to address that at the next quarterly condemnation meeting.
I'll make a motion. We do that. Leave it on until next quarterly condemnation meeting, and hopefully take it off then.
I second that motion. Suzette?
All right, motion's made to keep it on and seconded. Any discussion on it?
Great job on that. I would like to say that's been I guess, a project for a long time. And Jeremy, you did a great job. It's so much better. So thank you for your hard work on that.
Thank you.
I agree. That's an eyesore gone.
Mm.
All right, don't forget to come off mute for the vote, please. All in favor, say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, it'll stay on until the next quarterly condemnation meeting.
Okay, for here, this is where we are on our budget. So we've got, so far, we've gone through the 2,500. That is basically the title search there. That's 250 per property. So we've done 10 so far that have gone through. So that's where that is. The notices on expenses, what that really is the certified mailings that I put out to the owners of the properties, informing them that it's on the list. So that's where that is. Legal fees, that's where we are on that. That number will get a little bit higher because that doesn't include what's gone through with this quarter, which leaves us with the 26, almost 27,000. And obviously, since we've moved to proceed with Harrison, You can subtract 5,550 from that, which will put us, what is that, 2150 or 21,500, somewhere in there. I mean, that's just a rough guess.
Yeah.
About 20,000 when we're all said and done, probably. And so that's pretty much where we are now. These are where we are. This, the current from last year, there are 2 properties where the liens are still on file, and we have gotten 6,500 back for the removal of McKinley. If anyone remembers, that one was it was a burned down property that was, I guess it was removed about this in December of last year, and so that money has been paid back. So we did see that back, and the others are still pending.
Any questions on the status of liens?
Hey, Mayor, I have a question about our ballots on our fund there rolling over into next year. Do we roll that over and add another 30 next year to it?
No, it starts over at 30,000,
Okay.
which, you know, given that Jeremy's been able to pretty much apply consistent pressure. I mean, this year, every year's gonna be different, but I mean, he did a lot of work this year. The condemnation group, I mean, you guys we've done a lot of work this year, and we've really only spent 30%, you know, of our overall budget. So if it trends into next year, then 30,000 surprisingly is going to be more than maybe what we need. You know, but I think three properties every quarter is digestible. That's 12 houses a year. So I think it's working so far. If we get to a point where we need to raise that 30,000 or lower it, the Budget and Finance Committee can consider that for the council's approval. But right now, as we go into next year, that condemnation budget will reset at 30,000.
Okay, thank you.
And to add to that, just while we're on that, we so far this year, and I hadn't put this in, I was saving it for the end of the year, but since it was brought up, I'll go ahead and say, I mean, as of right now, we're really and truly sitting on to where we have gotten rid of about 12 after these, if you count these 2 in this quarter, about 14 properties altogether, because we have had some that I've talked to the owners beforehand and informed them of an intent to put them on the list, and they've taken care of it themselves. There's one church over on 4th. And then a couple of other properties. Well, that whole list will come out in December to show that, but it's been a very, very successful year. I can't guarantee it's going to be this good every year, but I hope it does. I mean, but it's been a really, really good year.
Jeremy, I have a question. So since we've made so much progress, would there ever be an opportunity that we could raise the number of condemnation properties that we're going after and even have more success?
My intention is to gauge it throughout as the year goes. That's kind of like through this 3rd quarter. That's why I believe it's 5 properties, or was it 6? I think it was 6, honestly. No, I'm sorry. It was 5 properties or something, because normally I do 3, but we did so good and we were doing so well money wise. That's why this quarter I went ahead and did 5. And yes, that's how it'll pretty much go. I kind of will start the year with 3, and if we have a lot of success, I will add more. And, you know, with the goal of being every year, if we can get 12, it's been a really good year. And that's 12 using $30,000. But if we can get that many or more and not use that money, yes. I mean, my goal is I'm going to get as many as I can get down in that time period as I can. With the hope of not spending the $30,000, but if that's what it takes, and if we have more money, yes, as the year goes on, I keep adding numbers to it. We keep throwing more properties on there. I do that cautiously as well, though, because I don't want to get 8 on there and then we don't have the money to do 8, and then it looks like I'm just throwing out threats that I can't back up, or that the city can't.
You're also the hinge point too, and you're managing code enforcement, animal control, and zoning and planning commission. So the more properties that are added to the list, the more that's actually on his plate to kind of balance and manage too. So it's a balancing act, like he was saying.
It is a kind of a balancing act, but at the same time, like I said, I don't ever want to reach a point to where, like, there's certain properties that are in the town that I would love to attack, but we don't have the budget to tear them down. If the owner says, I'm not going to do it, the city's going to have to. So I don't want to put out any empty threats. So it kind of has to be gauged as the year goes on of what properties I pursue and how we go about pursuing them. But yes, I want to do as many as I can with what we have.
Yeah, and each situation is different. I realize with the condemnation in each property, there's such a variance in each one. So great job. I mean, goodness, I'm just so proud of us for making all of this happen in such a short time. And Jeremy, I just want to commend you and Vonda for all the work you've done. We're just beautifying our city month by month, and we appreciate all the hard work.
Hey, Jeremy, this is Gib. I'd be interested in hearing the properties that you're talking about that are a little bigger than what you got in the budget. And we don't have to cover it tonight. We've covered a lot already. But if there's, right now it sounds like we got year-end money, what we call it in the military. We've got money at the end of the year in the budget, and the budget's about to start over. Is this something that potentially we could go after some of these bigger properties that with this money we've got left?
That's not necessarily for me to answer. I know every year we have 30,000 is what we do. And that starts fresh every year.
The only bigger property that comes to mind, Gib, would be the nursing home. And before the beginning of the year, I don't think we'd have time to get our legal notifications out to actually manage that process and have time to meet and vote before the next quarterly meeting. So the timing, we have to anticipate. We could have anticipated that last quarter and forecasted it ahead of before the end of this one. But I don't think there's enough time really before the end of the year to manage the nursing home and make sure that all the notices go out.
And with that nursing home, that one's also kind of a pet project of mine too. I'm trying to figure out ways to get that one done with the budget as well. But I'm swinging for the fences on that one, but I'm continuing to swing.
Well, we appreciate you.
Okay. So this is a bid tabulation. Jeremy, I'm going to let you speak to these. These came in a couple days ago, and we'll need a motion to accept. Obviously, the lower bid is TD Sims by a large margin. And Moyer was very honest about the bids when they came in, that they were going to be high on the higher spectrum because they're based out of Little Rock. But so anyways, Jeremy, go ahead.
Okay, on these, we sent these invitation for bid, I believe around the beginning of October. We had 4 or 5 that I had kind of contacted before we sent. We have to advertise obviously in the papers, but I contacted a few beforehand and kind of got interest from. We had several look. We had a couple come by, Moyer being one that came by. Mr. Sims, he also came by and received a package by hand. These, unfortunately, were the only 2 that actually bid. I had one that did say they wish they'd had a little more time, that they would have liked to have bid. But anyway, those are the 2 numbers that we had. And as the mayor said, Moyer, they did say that they thought they would be fairly high. They thought the only way they could really be competitive is if we would have actually gone for all 3. And even then they really weren't super competitive, but they basically said they're more of a big time people, and the travel in doing all of it was part of it. But then Mr. Sims came by and his bid was $5,500. He's bid on condemnations here before. And obviously he was the low bid.
So I need a motion from the council to accept items 1, 2, and 3 as bid.
So move, Elson.
Second, Suzette.
Any discussion on them?
I do. I have a question. I just want to make sure I'm understanding right. And if I am, great. If not, you can just correct me. This bid tabulation sheet is for the 318 Harrison Street. I guess I'm confused on what.
The way I did the bid is for 3 different items, so they were able to bid on each item. Item 1 was 116 North Front. Item 2 was Washington Street, and then item 3 was Harrison. And so they
Okay.
were allowed to bid on each one individually, and then the last one was a bid to do all 3 of them. And
Got it.
since we're moving to Harrison, it's just item 3 that we're voting on.
Okay, thank you.
So we're
Yeah,
not doing the front street one, right?
No,
So it's not the $17,055.25.
no, it's just the 5,550.
Yeah.
I'm out of confusion because I ran through item 1, 2, and 3. So the only one that was raised 318 Harrison Street. That double check, Jeremy, 5550 for 318 Harrison.
Yes, sir.
All right, good.
Mhm.
So let's just do it again. Ephraim, you had a motion. Can I get a motion to accept item number 3 at 5550?
So move.
Thank you. Do I have a second on that?
Second, Suzette.
All right, lastly, any discussion on that at all? Please come off of mute. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? All right, motion carries. Last thing now is next meeting's addresses for the considerations for next meeting.
Okay, 216 Frank T. Button. It is also, it's about a block or so away from the 304 Ash. Kind of close to that nursing home as well. Couple blocks off of Front Street. This one is, it's just, as you can see, it's in a state of disrepair. It's open air. You can stand at the front door and look all the way to the back, which is a big mess as well. We've had varmints in there. It's just in bad shape. As you can see, the roof is kind of coming through the back portion of it. It needs to go. It's been there for a while.
I'd like to get a motion to put 216 Frank T. Button on next quarter. Actually, I guess we can, let's do them individually. If I can get a motion to put this on the list.
So moved. Suzette.
All right,
Second.
thank you. Motion by Ms. Suzette, seconded by Ephraim. Any discussion on this property? All in favor, say aye.
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 All right, any opposed? Motion carries. Thank you. All right. 105 Lynn.
Number 2 is 105 Lynn Lane. I've had my eye on this one for a while. It's basically on the other side of Front Street from the previous one. It's got 2 tons of hay on it, or straw on the top of it, which is absorbing into the roof. The inside, I've looked through the windows. I can't really tell, but I would bet it's a lot of water damage in there from looking at the base of the structure. It's probably got a bad mold mildew problem. It's been empty for I don't know how long. The straw in the yard is 6 inches deep. It's a fire hazard, and it's just going to continue to get worse structure-wise as well. And I don't have any pictures of the backyard. There's a dog next door that looked like he could get to the fence, and I didn't want to mess with it.
Jeremy, which address is this again?
This is 105 Lynn Lane.
Okay, that's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Any questions on this one?
Mr. Mayor, I'll make a motion to put this address on the condemnation list.
Thank you, sir.
I second it. Yep.
Thank you. Motion is made by Ephraim, seconded by Gibb. Any discussion to put 105 Lynn Lane on next quarter's list? Don't forget to come off mute then. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? All right. Motion carries. Last is 120 East Fifth.
415 West Fifth. This property is between Church and Desmukes, across the street from, I believe that's a senior living facility. This one's been in disrepair for a while. In fact, I think trees are growing around it, having a competition to lift it off the ground.
Jeremy, is the
It-
address 415 or 120?
It is 415.
Okay, the agenda says
I had
120.
it
so
wrong on the front. I'm sorry.
that's okay. I just want to clarify that we're talking about 415 West Fifth.
Yes.
Okay.
But it's in bad shape. Windows are busted out. There's an opening through there. We actually, earlier in the year, had a couple issues with squatters in this property. I believe that's why that door's boarded up now. I'm not sure if the owner did that or if the city did or how that got boarded up, but we had an issue with that earlier in the year. So I've had it on my list, had my eye on it for a while. So we're just trying to, this one, I'm hoping we can lean on the owner a little bit and get them to do something. No promises, though. I'm not sure how that's going to go. But it definitely needs some improvement or torn down.
Make a motion. I move that we add this to the condemnation list. Let's give.
Thanks, sir. Do you have a second? All right, motion's made by Gibb, Richardson, and seconded by Ephraim Jones. Any discussion on this property? All right, don't forget to come off mute, please. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. All right, we've already covered trendsetter advertising. Are there any announcements? Or Jeremy, do you have anything? Sorry.
Yeah, I do have one thing I wanted to add onto this. The last meeting of the year for this will be in December. So I'm just letting the board know there will be a shorter time frame on notifying owners and giving them an opportunity to respond and go through with that. Normally I send out 3 notices. This one will be pretty much, it'll be 1, possibly 2, and then a final notice. But just to inform that the time frame will be a little bit shorter. So some of these they'll have to react faster, or there's a possibility we may have to move faster. One of the two. I'm not sure how it's going to go. I just wanted to let the council know that this is a much shorter time frame than normal.
Any discussion on that?
And I've got one question on that. On the one on 415 East Fifth, are you sure that's East Fifth or West Fifth? I just wanted to make sure it's correct.
It's West Fifth.
Okay, so we need to get that corrected, I guess, for the minutes.
Yes, thank you, Suzette. I was gonna ask the same question.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah,
Also, I have another question. He said December, or Mr. Gosden, you said December, there will be another condemnation meeting. So when we were voting earlier, we were mentioning that it would be in January, in our January condemnation meeting.
I can
I
do
just wanna-
January. That would help a lot if we did January, to be honest with you.
Well, I just want to make
problem
sure I've
with
got it down the right way, because I do have that when we decided to keep some of these properties on the list until the January meeting. I just want to make sure that I'm correct when I put that in
Yes.
there.
Yes, we
Okay.
did.
That is true, and that's something to consider, one or the other. If we do January, that leaves us with roughly $20,000 remaining in this year's budget to go after those 3. If we wait until January, I'm not sure how that works. Mayor, you may have to help me out on that one. If we're starting over with 30,000, if we go to
well,
January.
you'll have more houses lined up to take action on quicker and earlier in the year. So it's just a matter of how involved the homeowner is going to be, how much, if they're going to be proactive or not. I don't know. I mean, you've got 3-8, let's see, was it 416 Washington was going to be kept on there. We expect that property to be gone. 116 North Front, there was a motion to keep that on till till the next meeting. And then there was a motion to keep 304 East Ash on the, I think if I recall, all three of those we're going to self-remediate, right?
Yes, sir, they should.
So that's not, I don't see that really adding a financial wrinkle into next year's budget if those property owners are engaged and they take care of their own raisings. If they don't, then what will come out of, what would have come out of this year's budget will come out of next year's budget, and you'll start out kind of premature in the year.
Okay.
If that's the only consequence to not having a meeting in December, and I'm okay with it. If the council wants to move into January, it would honestly it'd be even more tight really to have a condemnation meeting in December and then one in January. It really doesn't make sense. So I would move that we just move on into January, because there's already a wrinkle in the quarterly schedule right now. I'd say we just move into January and let that lapse pass. And if we just bite the bullet on any of these properties that don't take care of their own refuse, then we can take action on it at that point in time. That's what I would recommend. If somebody from the council wants to hang on to the meeting in December, then let us know about it. If not, I would recommend.
I agree. I think this will kind of get us back on. Today is our fourth quarter meeting, so to speak, right?
Well,
January.
it's a late third quarter, but yes, that's what this
Okay.
would effectively would be your fourth quarter meeting. And then we'll see each other at the beginning of the year to get started with a fresh budget, knowing that we've got 3 properties we already expect to take care of itself from last year to
Yes,
talk
sir.
about.
Mr. Mayor, is
Good.
there, I'm sorry, Gib.
No, I'm okay. I was just saying I'm good with waiting until January.
Okay. Mr. Mayor, is there any way we could ever roll the remaining funds over into next year to even take on more properties? Since we feel good about the ownership of the ones that we're keeping on the condemnation letters or the list. I looked up the ownerships of those, and I agree with Jeremy. I think they will take care of their property. So I'm just curious if we've ever considered rolling over the remaining funds.
Yeah, I don't think it works like the funds are just left in the budget, so we roll them over. I think the way to do that is to recommend to the Budget and Finance Committee that we would increase the condemnation budget from 30 to whatever you'd recommend, be it 36 or 42 or whatever your thoughts are on that.
Yeah, we've got a good budget left. Ginger, do you have any thoughts on that?
I mean, a budget is what you make of it. If you decide you want to roll over the money, you could. I think in the past, the original thought was that, we would try to keep it at with what we were tearing down, getting paid back and keeping us at 30 in the budget. But, hearing what Jeremy said earlier, he said he's kind of got his plate full with all of his other things. And I think he's doing an excellent job of getting people to clean things up without even going on the list in the first place. So to me, it's kind of one of 6 one way, half a dozen the other. I think that if Jeremy found a situation like maybe that nursing home where we needed more money, then I think we could amend the budget and find money to do that. But if we're just kind of rolling along at a good pace as is, based on what I think he said earlier, I'd probably leave it at the 30 and then just kind of address it as we get there. But I do understand what you're saying too. I just think Jeremy's just done too good of a job on these. So he needs more money. If he says he needs more money, I think we'll listen to him and find a way to make that happen.
Absolutely. That's good to know. We can amend that budget next year if we need it. So that's great to know.
And that's one of the reasons that we actually pass a budget through resolution, is so that we have the flexibility through points of the year to make changes without having to go through the ordinance process. Okay.
Thank you.
Any other?
Right. There's always general funds or something like that could be done. And when we're done with that, Mayor, I'm sorry, I kind of blanked on this. I don't think we actually passed the resolution on 318 Harrison, did we?
So,
The resolution? No, we didn't go through the resolution. So we
But
probably
didn't they vote to do it though?
we voted to raise it.
Right,
we
we
didn't-
voted to tear it down, but I don't think we actually did the resolution because I kind of interrupted us with trying to figure out when the sale might happen through tax sale. So I'm sorry if I set us off a little bit on that.
Well, that's okay. Let's go back to it. Thanks for catching it. I'm going backwards here.
Does anybody have a motion to put the resolution on the table, on the floor for 318 Harrison Street to condemn that property?
So moved,
Second, Al.
Suzette.
And 318 was this guy right here. Okay.
That's the little White House. Yes, that one.
All right. So the motion's been made by Suzette and seconded by Ephraim.
There you go.
Put the resolution on the floor.
All right, resolution number 10-4-2021, a resolution declaring the property within the city of Lone Oak, Arkansas, located at 318 Harrison Street, Lone Oak, Arkansas, to be a nuisance and condemning same pursuant to Lone Oak City Ordinance number 575. Whereas Arkansas Code Annotated Section 14-56-203 provides that cities of the first class shall have the power to order the removal or raising of, or to remove or raise any buildings or houses that, in the opinion of the council, have become dilapidated, unsightly, unsafe, unsanitary, obnoxious, or detrimental to the public welfare. And whereas Arkansas Code Annotated Section 14-56-203 furthermore provides that said cities of the first class shall provide by ordinance the manner or removing and making of the above referenced removals. And whereas on or about March 10th, 2008, the City Council for the City of Lone Oak, Arkansas, the city enacted and passed ordinance number 575, the effect of which was to provide for the condemnation and removal of houses, buildings, and or structures constituting a nuisance within the corporate limits, providing for lien thereon, and providing a penalty therefore. And whereas pursuant to the requirements contained in Lone Oak City Ordinance number 575, the Lone Oak City Council wishes and desires to pass a resolution declaring certain houses, buildings, and or structures to be a nuisance to the City of Lone Oak and its citizens, and condemning the same. Whereas the properties hereby condemned are affecting the citizens of the City of Lone Oak and are in violation of said citizens' rights to lawfully use and enjoy their properties, and furthermore constitute an unreasonable and unwarrantable use of property producing a material annoyance, inconvenience, and discomfort to all citizens of the City of Lone Oak. And now therefore be it resolved that the following described property, together with any existing houses, buildings, and or structures thereon owned by the persons set forth below be, and the same is hereby found and declared to be a nuisance by the City Council of the City of Lone Oak, Arkansas, for the reasons set forth below, and the same shall be and hereby is condemned to ensure the removal thereof as provided in Lone Oak City Ordinance number 5. I'm sorry, that's a typo. That should be Lone Oak City Ordinance number 575. Property address 318 Harrison Street, Lone Oak, Arkansas. Property owner Charles Miller. Mortgagee, none. Reason for condemnation: property is vacant and has fallen into severe disrepair so as to make it unlivable, with holes in the walls, broken, missing, and boarded windows, rotted roof, soft floors, girders, joists, and other structural members are rotten and showing severe termite damage and other damage. Property is dilapidated, unsightly, unsafe, unsanitary, obnoxious, or detrimental to the public welfare. See attached photographs, which are incorporated here by reference.
I'll take a motion to accept the first reading.
So moved, Suzette.
Second, Ephraim.
Thank you, Ephraim. Motion is made by Suzette, seconded by Ephraim Jones. Any discussion on the resolution? Please come off of mute for the vote. All in favor, say aye.
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 Aye. Any opposed? All right, that resolution is passed. All right, any other orders of business or announcements from the council? All right, any other code enforcement questions or comments or concerns? You guys have a great night, and I appreciate the work that you're putting forth. So Suzette, you're right. We're doing our best to make this town beautiful. So just takes time.
Absolutely.
Takes time. All right, you guys have a great night.
We gotta
Enjoy-
adjourn. We gotta adjourn.
Any, okay.
I move
Motion
that we
to
adjourn.
adjourn.
All right, I got a move. I got a
Second by
motion.
Gibb.
Thanks. Any objection?
Thanks, everybody.
All right, have a good night.
Thank y'all.